Test, Test. Ja, sehr schön. Gut, soll ich schon mal reinigen oder weniger?
Ja, hey.
Die haben nur gelb
Klingt
und blau, rot und blau, oder was?
Ha?
Die haben rot und blau nur.
Ja. Ja, hey.
Your mic.
Yes.
Who becomes the second one?
Maybe. Hi. Ich schick's dir zum Gegenlesen, damit du dann diplomatisch. Yo, Mimi, was geht? Mimi im Gebäude. Willst du schnelle 16er kicken? What? Alles gut? Kommen Sie. Setzen Sie sich.
Soldier, how late can you stay? How late can you stay? When do you have to go home?
You mean today?
Today.
Wir sagen dann kannst du heute mitnehmen. Kommst du rein? Also allerspätestens 8 Uhr musst du gehen. You can stay until 8.
Okay.
Hallo, was geht? Setzt euch gerne. Hier ist noch ganz viel Platz. Da oder da.
Wo kein Platz ist, schaffen wir Platz.
Jawohl. Wir können auch noch ein bisschen rücken. Can get together a little more space. Na klar.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for showing the name of the participants. So we are going to start. My name. Let me introduce myself. I am Hiroshi from Tokyo, and I'm going to give the brief introduction about hip hop in Tokyo at the beginning. Then we are going to move to the open discussion with Joshua, Nikki, Radio Chicks, Joana, and Darthreider in a few minutes. Thank you very much for coming and everything. A bit. Wait a sec, please. All right. So shall we start? Thank you very much for coming here, and we are going to have an open discussion. Thank you very much. First of all, my name is Hiroshi. I'm basically I'm a DJ. Started DJ for many years ago, and now basically writing about hip hop and street culture for domestic and international media. And I was supposed to talk about hip hop in Tokyo, but I changed the subject to the open discussion because coming here, Frankfurt is a kind of open eye experience, because hip hop here and hip hop in Tokyo is very different. So I just, throw away my idea that just talking about hip hop in Tokyo. Instead, I really want to exchange opinions with you guys. Thank you very much for coming. So. First of all, let me play one video for one of the biggest star or well-known rapper from Tokyo. Do you know his music?
Let's get dirty. 何振りかも待つこれからも俺らやるすぐが出る汚れまくり Dirt Boys Dirt Boys 綺麗事と Dirt Boys
So this is one of the most well-known artists called K-O-H-H, and his song Dirt Boys featuring Dutch Montana and Luther. Basically, lyrics all about, as it like called Dirt Boys, like we are kind of. We are not clean, but we work hard. We are not any. We don't have any patience for the informer, and we spend money. Like when we make money, on any. Especially they mentioned the brand of the names.
Yeah, these guys come from the dirty district of Tokyo, and it's called the Kitaku, and it's thought of the poor. There's some poverty, and he's talking about the rich man is poor in the heart. We're the poor guys with the rich and proud heart, and that's the basic thing that he's trying to say. And he's got friends, and he's got some community, so give the fuck up to the school, because school doesn't teach anything, but the community and my friends always teach me the right way to go, what to do, and we're really proud of it, and things like that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Darthreider. And actually, the rapper in the middle, Dutch Montana, just went to the prison of the... because the,
same office. Dutch Montana went to prison last year, and he works at the same office as me, but he's a good guy.
I wanted to say that it definitely sounded familiar, even if I didn't understand the lyrics.
Right.
And I also prepared some videos. One is very close to that one sound-wise.
Right.
And the other video is also with a person who is in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
Should we listen to one? Would be an idea.
Why not?
Should I type it in?
Yeah, Which one? Like
Haftbefehl 069. Haftbefehl 069. There you go. Down, down, down.
This one?
No, one down.
This
there
one?
you go, yeah. It's similar sound-wise. Also...
Hi. Can you like explain a bit?
Yeah,
The background and
069,
lyrics, yeah.
069 or 069 is like the pre-type of the phone number of the Frankfurt and Offenbach area. So he's also rapping about his neighborhood, let's say. It's also shown in the video. And yeah, he's rapping about alternative ways how to get money and the conflicts he and his associates are in getting to the guap. Yeah.
Right. Maybe like it's better to give you the brief introduction in like hip hop in Tokyo, like how it started and how it developed. And first of all, I think in 1983, the movie called Wild Style was shown in Tokyo, and it was kind of like beginning because for the promotional reason, the promoter brought original DJs and breakdancers and graffiti writers and rappers, of course. I think totally 20 of them. Brought them into Tokyo, and they like made some gigs in Tokyo. So Japanese people, it was the very first time for Japanese people to see hip hop live, from graffiti to a DJ and rap. So from 83 to 90, if I'm wrong, correct me, Darthreider. If from 83 to 90, around early 90s, it was a kind of period of tryouts to how to rhyme in Japanese language, because in Japanese language we don't usually rhyme. Like we have a poetry, but it doesn't rhyme.
Yeah, it doesn't rhyme.
It has totally different system of the rhythm.
The language is real different. So the first Japanese rhyming rap just came in 1986. A MC called Seiko found out that you have to do hip hop in your own language instead of doing it in English, because doing hip hop in English looks proper, but if you think of the mind of hip hop, you have to represent yourself. That means that you speak by yourself. That means you use your own language, and then he has to find out how to rhyme in Japanese. And there was a long struggle. So Ega said, 10 years struggle to find out how to rhyme in Japanese. And I think the controversy still goes on, because when it came to trap music, the flow is equal global flow exists. So if you just put our words in the flow, then it works. But in the 90s, you have to develop your own flow, and everybody had a different type of flow. So it was quite difficult to find the right place to put your language. And so I think trap music made the rap goes global easier, because everybody can know where to get high and where to excite. But Japan's history was really struggling for about 10 years how to find out. And so, go on.
Also, I think like it has a bit problematic because time was so different if you compare to like late 90s, 80s to the 2000, early 2010 or something. For example, like I think totally fine to rap and rhyme in various languages right now. Why not? Like to mix Japanese and English and say any kind of language. But back then, like in that's my opinion. But back then in 1980s, it was really for us. It was a task for us to rhyme in Japanese. And then after, I think in 1966, we had a very big, like epoch-making concert called Thumping Camp, which was the first big concert, like a gig, to gather many hip hop artists, back then. And then, around 2000, hip hop emerged as one of the major music genre in Japan. But after that, like somehow, the development and popularity of Japanese hip hop kind of slowed down. And then I think, also it's my opinion, but like from my point of view, early 2000 to even 2010, it was kind of unpopular. Like it was very, very slow period for Japanese hip hop. What do you think, Darthreider?
After 2002 or 3 until 2010 was the underground period of Japanese hip hop, and there was so many underground MCs and underground labels that said, okay, nobody pays attention, nobody pays the money for us, the music industry is totally whack, so we're gonna do our thing underground. And that really worked. There was so much talent in the underground. And then we found out about around 2010 or 11 that the MC battle started at 1999. The first official MC battle was happening in 1999, and I entered that tournament. I was in the best 16 of that tournament, but that was the first one. And then 10 years later, there was a TV show called the High School Rap Tournament, and they gathered around these high school kids to do an MC battle, and which I was the official referee for that TV show. And then everybody realized that the MC battle is really exciting, and even if you don't know hip-hop, you can see two kids rhyming against each other, and that made people say, wow, that's amazing, because there's a 15-year-old kid fighting a 17-year-old kid, and they're doing rap, and they got their stories and things like that, and the TV show went very well. And then the main channel, one of the main channels in Japan, started another TV show called the Freestyle Dungeon, which, it's a funny word maybe, but the Freestyle Dungeon is, there was so many, most of the Japanese rappers entered the Freestyle Dungeon to do some battle rap, and then now it's one of the most popular contents on TV. It's the midnight show, but the main channel shows it every week. Every Tuesday night, there's a MC battle TV show going on in Japan, and now so many people are watching it, and it's becoming a huge industry. And then the Japanese animation called Hypnosis Mike made an animation of this battle rap, and now the animation fans are into battle rap also, and it's getting huger and huge every day. But at the same time, the underground is saying, okay, freestyle rap is okay, but that's not my thing. We're writing songs, and there's the hip-hop culture and things like that. It's the controversy right now in Japan is because the major scene wants the battle rap. Now the underground scene is rapping about songs and minds and the outsider works. And it's kind of getting the largest moment in Japanese hip-hop right now.
I might say there are some layers. Like, for example, like, let me put this way. Like, from early 2000, 2010, at the very underground, period, like we Japanese developed to rhyme in Japanese, and it's very, I think it came to the fruition. But after that, like this freestyle booming came, and it popularized hip hop or rap, in Tokyo and Japan. So let me play one example of the underground MC. so many talents, so I just picked up, but so they are not stars, but they rhyme good.
Slow down から何年相変わらずのカウンターフローは健在同時に D に未だにやめられやしないアウトプットはそれぞれのそれ次第にもかかわらずしまったハビこれ模倣手が商法似たようなもの音キックスは冗談にポージ BBB ギャラクシーパラノーマンの希望かぶりイコール寒いが俺の根底説得力あるこの音程スタイルウォーズって言葉はもうすでに死亡なら大好きの感覚でフローしようマイノリティはブランドじゃないまるでタブのようなパンチだよ謎りじゃない何にしてもそう自分がなきゃパン別れも出るぜインフリのアンプシノを動かす運び屋の道具言葉リズム踊り絵の具サンプラーで遭遇太古の昔から健在な文化原始人手形の壁が街中のタグやピース世界中祝い事にはつきものの先や踊りリズム DJ 円盤環境生命が残してきた時間の楽しみ方この国のゆとりで返す K to the 音楽 Hip hop music break run rock spin break smooth minds skin talk monster elements the booger monk funk with MCs it's style we are be you 自分でいることを維持するフリースタイルが基本の MIC 根回しいらないマスターシェ埋めるこのルールよクールなエレメント進化する乗り方はめ方俺らの歩き方ベーシックよりも唯一を感じなオリジナル知りたいなら常に遠いな温度のわからない水に飛び込んだ見本はいないスタイルの哲学者ショップサウンド空気操る達人風が吹くよりノリが舞い降りるキングドンシップウォーバイビデン101で抜きされ過去の歴史最も重要なメンタリティあとはヘルシーでいいのが待つ何よりやけどするくらいに情熱的その心懐に忍ばせる気好きになれ詰め込みすぎ要注意でかちなヘッズにカットするエッジ So this is called Buddha Monk 5 Elements featuring Monju and OYZ and before going to the really to the open discussion the reason why let me clear that why I moved from my own lecture about Japan hip hop in Tokyo to the open discussion because after coming here Frankfurt I have this strong impression in Frankfurt it seems hip hop is tightly connected to the community or a sense of the community and my hypothesis is in Tokyo, especially not in Japan, but in Tokyo, hip hop is very, very fashion, I think. And I'm not saying, and fashion is, for example, is a kind of pejorative or bad thing, but it seems it is really different for me, and so, yeah.
What do you mean by fashion? That it's trendy, a trendy thing to do, or what do you mean by that?
It's, how can I say? It's, first of all, we really care the style. And style comes first before content.
Yeah, so it's easy to put it like Nico and Rico of Frankfurt. We saw their show, and like Misha was standing right next to the guys with the water in the pocket, and the rappers were getting thirsty, then Misha just handed out the water, and that's kind of a family support, and I feel love in that movement, right? And because of those guys are really connected to the community, they are thinking about how to make the community a better place and how to get these kids out of the streets into music and how to make money out of that and how to feed their family. And I think you need a lot of effort to do that because it's a really serious thing to do, and you have to do it decently, and it's an everyday work. But in Tokyo, actually, money moves fast, and not many of the hip-hop artists are thinking about the community. They're actually thinking about how they look, how they appeal, and how they can get their money. Not our money, but the money for himself. And it is kind of, hip-hop is also a survival game, and they're always aiming for success. So it is good to aim for a goal. But at the same time, you have to think about the generation that's going to come after you and the generation that was before you and connect and make a bridge. But in Tokyo, because Tokyo is such a big city, people just lose their sight of the community because it's too big.
The population is double in Tokyo. And also, we are not saying that, no hip-hop artist cares about community. For example, the first video, Cole and Dutch Montana and Luther, they rap about community, how important it is. But actually, the system itself doesn't work. That's my impression in Tokyo. And we may talk about, please go ahead.
Maybe one thing to the locality aspect, because 1 year ago I was in Mannheim, almost 1 year ago, at a hip-hop symposium. There were like the real OGs, I would say, of German rap. It was like Tony L and Torch and Sammy Deluxe. And yeah, they were basically talking that localities used to be a big thing, I would say. I mean, Murat is here. I think he's quite an expert on that as well. But it used to be a lot more like that. I mean, that was what they said as well. Like, it was Hamburg, it was Berlin, it was Stuttgart, and it was Frankfurt. Yeah, and I mean, to some extent, it's like still like that. But I think it has loosened a little bit. So
right.
Yeah.
So it's not that big different. That's what you mean? No, or I mean, like Tokyo and Frankfurt, or Japan and Germany.
Well, I cannot really like judge or make a
right,
comparison,
of course not.
but yeah.
Anyone? Yes, please.
I think it's, I don't know so much about the political history of Tokyo or Japan, but I think, and also Murat said it in his lecture, that in Germany it's so much connected to the German history. Like Murat's lecture traced it back to the guest workers, which we also talked about, but also the cities that you are mentioned, some of them at least, they had so much American occupation, so there were a lot of American GIs based in different spaces around Germany. And I think maybe this aspect already brought communities which, due to different factors, maybe it was language or they were being kind of discriminated against because of where they came from, or racism, whatever. I think that factor already created communities in themselves, like, which were not maybe related to hip hop, but I think hip hop was then a part of maybe also connecting those communities closer. I think that's what I can say. And I think also the other aspect is that this institution of youth centers, which I always keep mentioning, which is, I think, a big part of, I don't know, German social system, like that there's these places where young people supposed to spend their free time, and I mean, this is how I got to know hip hop, and I think many of us would say that a certain generation maybe, because now there's different ways to connect also, but I think back then this is, I think that was a nice part also in the lecture where you said, you know, you had to go to a youth center to listen to this kind of music. It was not about turning on the radio or turning on the TV and it was there. You had to go and look for it, and maybe those spaces were therefore really important. Yeah.
No, I got a different. Okay. Thank you both for the lecture, and it was an amazing view to hip hop in Tokyo. And I got two questions. One question is, in the 80s in Germany, the youth houses was very important for the development in hip hop in Germany. And is that a same development in Japanese? Because youth houses, is it also important for the hip hop development there? And the second question is it only a male culture in Japanese in the hip hop, and what's up with the female MCs there? Can you explain about female MCs in Japanese?
Youth center, it's not important at all, I think. I think it's a very, Joana's, you know, what Joana said is really like interesting, because first of all, like we don't have a, like apart from hip hop, we don't have, do we have a community? Do we have a community in Japan? I'm not really sure. I'm from like east side of Tokyo originally. I grew up there, but I like sense that I never felt the sense of the community over there. But forget about it. But anyway, second question: like female rappers or like DJs in hip hop Japan. It just happened, I think.
Yeah, because you know the gender balance ranking, Japan has proudly ranked in the 113th of the world, the gender balance. So it's such a male society, and hip-hop used to be a full men culture, but now there are some really nice MCs, female MCs showing up.
Yeah, we can see that after a while,
but still very few, very, very few. And we are always looking for this nice female rappers to play as a role model, because if there's a role model like Cardi B is on the TV screen, then the girls say, hey, she's cute, and then she might start rapping. So we need to start that with a real star female rapper, which is a few female rappers are getting real big right now, and I think it will start changing, but still, you know,
at the same time, it's not fair. Japan is not only the country which has a, you know, like imbalance of the genders, because like I participated in the BBC poll, like global poll, about the greatest songs of hip hop the other day, and it has, you know, they selected by 188 journalists from 6 countries or something, and they chose 10 songs, but all of them are male songs, by male rappers.
Yeah, when you think about the legendary MC, let's see, Tupac, Nas, or Biggie, okay.
Rakim, yeah.
Where's the ladies? So that is actually hip hop. It's a hip hop problem also, I think, to change the balance. And yes, but Japan is struggling right now.
So maybe we may go back. Yeah, please.
Where are the places where hip hop takes place? Like in Germany, we have youth centers, we have concerts, media is not so strong. You said that hip hop is on the mainstream TV.
Right now, but like I
So-
think it was in 80s it was really media driven.
All right.
I think, yeah.
And then nowadays,
Nowadays-
where do the people meet up? Where do they get to know each other?
Basically clubs, and also not so many block parties, I have to say. So, yeah, basically clubs, and also in recent years, of course, like internet, yeah, but internet clubs. Then where else? I think that's it. Yeah, if you talk about like meeting points.
I just wanted to say, so my English isn't the best, but I wanted to say that we just don't need only role models for female rapper. We just need a more open community for women and less sexism. And I think this is one of the problems hip-hop got around the world, and I think also community got around the world this problem. And it's not that girls don't rap, it's they don't get opened the doors because some shit is always happening to them, like yes, the sexism shit I talk about. And this is why many women do stop, and but they are there. We just need to open our eyes and support them and just see them as a community who are on our eye level, I think. So this is how I feel about it, and experience I made, or I can see it. Yeah, and I'm very excited for the female rapper you will show me, and maybe I can also show you someone, and when there's place, then you can say it, okay?
What I
would just add to that, because I think what you said is super important, because, and I'm going to criticize you again, I said great things about you, but it's this effect, also what you were talking about these lists that are being made, where then suddenly there's only male rappers. Oops, how did that happen? It's like, because in a way we could see it very well, they are written out of the history, like you in your lecture you put some female rappers starting in 2017, and then it makes it look like female rappers in Germany appeared in 2017, and this is not at all the case. And I don't know if who watched it. There's even like this big documentary on Netflix which looked at German rap, and also they were only men, and confronted with this criticism, and it was exactly those guys, I mean, Tony Ellis talking and I don't know, Eisfeld, whoever, like Stieber Twins and all these names, I don't know. And then when they're confronted with the criticism, there's like, oh yeah, we didn't find any, and this is really, I think it's like you said, it's not just that they're not there, it's they're actively also ignored or like written out of the history. So I think that's a very big point, because I think they were there since day one. And maybe even in Tokyo, if you would look closer, you will find them.
I actually did some research today, because there was a journalist from the Frankfurter Rundschau, and she said that the origins of hip-hop were sexist. So I did some research, and there were women from the beginning, like the first block party, which is like considered to be the starting day of hip-hop. The promoter was a female, so without her, no one would have known about the party. So there are females since day one, for sure. What I really appreciate about the hip-hop culture is that it gives somehow transparency to the society, let's say. So every bullshit's going on in society, you will find a hip-hop song that reflects that topic. So the hip-hop culture enables us to have an open discussion about shit like sexism, and that's something that I really value, because now we can talk about it. Now it's not behind closed doors. Now we can point out people, and we can like try to understand why they think like that, which kind of environmental factors lead to those kind of thoughts. And that's something that I highly appreciate. I wanted to add that.
Anyone? Yes, please.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that I think there's a big problem with sexism in the community, but not just in hip hop, but overall. But I would not say that there are specific male curators of playlists or something who try to write females out of hip hop because they don't like it. I'd rather consider it as them searching for quality content, and due to male participation in hip hop being a lot higher, it's a lot more likely for a male to be on those playlists. It's like if you say, if you're reading books in the German classes, there are no books of females, and it's just because a lot of German writers that revolutionized the style of writing were men. And I also think this will change in the future, but I don't think it's kind of the fault of single people who decide to kind of put females in another box than males. Yeah, my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay. I lost my.
Du kannst auch auf Deutsch machen. Sie übersetzt. Ich mache auch gleich auf Deutsch.
Ja. Okay. Also es ist halt auch so, dass generell, wenn man das halt irgendwie sagt und so irgendwie so verallgemeinert, ja, es liegt ja nicht an den Einzelnen oder so, aber es liegt ja an irgendwas und es liegt auch an Einzelnen und auch daran, dass man halt auch einfach nicht richtig hinguckt und dann halt einfach sagt, ja, es gibt ja nicht genug, die irgendwie gut sind oder so. Aber das stimmt ja einfach nicht, sondern durch gewisse Umstände kommen die halt einfach nicht ans Licht oder können nicht genau diese Wege oder diese Connections irgendwie haben, die jetzt zum Beispiel dann die Männer unter sich haben, so unter ihren Brüdern und so, die sagen ja auch immer alle, die Brüder so, die Schwestern werden auch nicht so erwähnt, einfach, also ist ja auch ganz oft so, ist ja auch einfach so ein Culture-Slang-Ding irgendwie auch und es sind halt so viele kleine Details und ja, also man kann halt einfach nicht sagen, dass es halt, keine Ahnung, nicht auch an Einzelnen liegt, also es liegt auch an Einzelnen und es gibt sie und sie sind gut und sie haben es voll drauf und ja, das wollte ich halt noch dazu sagen.
Shall I translate it? Oh God. I think what you mean in a way is like that, huh? Yeah, there's a lack of opportunity, but also you were talking about kind of that it's wrong to always just singularize or like put it on the individual and say like this is not happen. I mean, the way I understand it is that you wanted to make visible how there's two layers and there's a structural one and there's an individual one. So everyone has the responsibility to search for the women and make them visible. So and it's not just about quality at all, because this is one of the stupidest arguments which was ever made actually, with the quality argument. So I'm sorry, and I think that's what you meant.
Now, I think it's pretty unlikely that they haven't been female artists or whatsoever. It's just unlikely because it's always about society and there are females in society. So yeah, I really think that they just don't get the spotlight, let's say. And I did some research, as I further mentioned, and there are a lot of females. And Agata Pietrzik, she's the one taking pictures here. She even published a magazine about female rappers only. So if you have further interest, talk to her. She did her homework on that topic, and there are females.
Also ich mach's auch mal auf Deutsch.
Warte, weil ich will was dazu sagen. I have to apologize. I maybe said it in the wrong way. I don't mean that female rappers are not as good as male rappers overall, but the only thing I wanted to say is I think there are more male rappers and society is kind of more it's more normal for men to be rappers than females, and this is not my opinion, but it's a rather kind of the construct of society which teaches us this image, and I think this is the reason why there are no big female rappers in the media, not because of single people who say, no, we don't want this, but I just think it's, as you say, that the structure is very hard to get through for a woman to become a big rapper, but yeah, and I agree on that. I do. Yeah, I agree on that, but the only thing I wanted to say is that I don't think it's on single people who say that they are not, that they don't think it's good that there are female rappers, but I rather think it's the whole thing. And sorry if it, yeah.
But it is on single people, okay? Because if you make a playlist, yeah, you're an individual, and you choose only men, then it's your fault. So it is on single people. It always is. You know, if I'm a producer and or an A&R working at a record label, and I only sign men, then I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? So it is on single people, always.
Yeah,
you know?
you are right, but those A&Rs, they try to profit, and it's not their fault that their record label needs them to sign people who are very likely to get a lot of streams. And we can see in what yeah, no, wait, what I want, it's just about the whole thing that we try to profit of art instead of trying to acknowledge that there are a lot of people who are good in what they're doing. I don't say that, I mean, I'm on your side. I just think that we kind of have a problem in communication right now, because I just wanted to kind of portray what is the problem. And I think it's just, we try to, or the record labels try to profit on the music. And the easiest way to do is to take things that have worked in the past and to just put them on stream again and again and again. And I think this is kind of the problem. Not that they don't want females on the playlist. We can see in the US it's working very good, but here it's not as established, but I think it will come. That's just what I wanted to say, yeah.
Okay, ich habe schon fast vergessen, was ich sagen wollte. Also, vorneweg, das ist ja eine Industrie, über die wir hier reden. So. Und es gibt Menschen, die in dieser Industrie nun mal mehr zu sagen haben als andere Menschen. Und deswegen kann ich auch überhaupt nicht damit übereinstimmen, dass es nicht einzelne Leute sind. Weil wir auch gerade im deutschen Rap eine Richtung mit Lelele und sonst was haben, Gucci Prada. So, und die wird auch ausgesucht von einzelnen Menschen. Sonst würden wir über Gesellschaftskritik reden. So. Tun wir aber nicht. Die meisten nicht. Faden verloren. Zum Beispiel mein Hip-Hop, ja. Der linke, ich meine, Hip-Hop in Frankfurt ist ziemlich links, ja. Was sehr schön ist, weil wir dort auch viele Frauen sehen. Ja. Ich sehe bei jedem mein Hip-Hop-Event mindestens eine Frau, die performt und auch gut performt. So. Die sind da, die sind halt wirklich da. Man muss einfach nur am Dienstag da hingehen und sich das angucken. Das Problem ist nur, dass sie nicht gesehen werden von den Leuten oder auch Gefallen finden, dass die Produzenten, und von denen du geredet hast, keinen Gefallen an ihnen finden. Und das beruht nun mal auf Sexismus, ist halt leider Fakt. So. Mehr kann man dazu auch eigentlich nicht mehr sagen.
Ich habe das Gefühl, dass das sich ändert. Ich habe das Gefühl, dass sich das bessert. Ich sehe immer mehr Frauen auf der Fläche, die proaktiv am Ball sind, und I appreciate it so much, weil dann fühle ich mich auch nicht wie so ein halber Krüppel, der nicht weiß, wie er mit Frauen umgehen kann, weil der kennt es halt nicht, den Umgang mit Frauen. Ich habe das Gefühl, da gibt es eine Entwicklung, und ich habe das Gefühl, dass die Hip-Hop-Community es der ganzen Gesellschaft vormachen wird, weil es hier eben offen diskutiert wird und weil gepusht wird und die Probleme angesprochen werden. Das heißt, ich glaube, in den nächsten Jahren wird es noch schöner und bunter und vielfältiger werden, eben wegen so nicen Menschen, die ich hier im Wagner-Projekt kennengelernt habe.
To mention about the first hip-hop party, And the first hip-hop party happened in 1973, the August the 10th. And the purpose for the party was to collect money for the sister of DJ Kool Herc. Yeah, so to buy her new school uniform was the purpose that hip-hop started. So it started from a female side. That's really correct. And to talk about the spotlight thing, so he was talking about there are people existing, but that spotlight that just doesn't show them. The spotlight is a society problem, because recently in Japan there was a huge issue that they found out that in medical universities, men and women take the same exams, and then the university gave 20-point plus only to the men in secret. They were doing that for years, and that's not an individual problem. There's no single person to point out that he's the bad guy. Actually, everybody, the society, the whole, was bad because they put the spotlight in that way. And that's what's happening in Japan right now, and it's a society problem. No, actually, so hip-hop is the key to change society problems, to solve it. But we need a community-based power to do that, and that's what's lacking in Tokyo. So we have to gather around and make unions and unity to change the society. But actually, in Japan, everybody's always tracing their own goal. And if you do a single race, then we can't change the whole thing. And that's what the problem is happening in Japan right now, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Then, like, is there anyone like who explain to me like, what's happening here?
Yeah, that's what we saw in Frankfurt. That might be because in Tokyo, there's so many social problems, and we want to solve that by hip-hop, but hip-hop lacks of community power. But when I came to Frankfurt, I found out that there was so much power in the community based on hip-hop, which was a very good thing to see. So maybe that will be a hint to change some social solutions.
Okay.
I have to say, I think it's actually there's somewhat of like a contradiction, I think, because hip hop in Germany has this kind of I would say like this old backpack with all the with all these ideas which we talked about, like how hip-hop started, 5 elements. I mean, I think I wanted to mention one time, like, some people even say, like, one of the 5th element is knowledge, Afrika Bambaataa defined it like this. So, and I'm saying this is like an old backpack that German hip-hop is carrying with itself, like, somehow this whole notion that hip-hop needs to be critical of societal issues, and it's like a power, like, it's about subversion, power subversion, people who come from underprivileged backgrounds, get their language, they get to speak. But I actually think that somehow that's also the reason why these conversations that we're trying to have right now cannot happen. Because if we always repeat the mantra of peace, love, and unity in hip-hop, we can never speak about actually the problems that there are, because we deny that they're there, because we are so back-tied in this idea that we need to be a community. So I think this idea is actually a little bit of a problem, because we can't speak about racism, we can't speak about sexism, we can't speak about ableism, because we are so busy like repeating this mantra in a way. This is my opinion.
I'm confused. We're talking about it now. I'm confused. We're talking about it now.
Yeah, it's rare, and I think this is also because we're in the theater, But there's many spaces in hip hop, I think, where this is not possible.
Yeah, like this is a pioneering project for sure, and thanks to the theater and thanks to the Wagner project and thanks for you coming to Frankfurt with a spaceship from the future in order to make this happen, because we can't do that on our own. We need external help, obviously, and that we have such a strong community kind of thing here is also due to the people who do the workshops, because a lot of them got like a social background, so they are really interested in that, to create a community and bring people together and use it somehow to develop personalities. But it's just a small fragment. So what you see here is nothing that happens in mainstream. This is a rare phenomenon. This is a pioneering kind of thing, and it's necessary. And yeah.
Yeah, it's like about one or two sentences. So I do agree with you, like everything you said. I think it's kind of true, and also very sad. Thing is that we live in a sexist society. There's no denying that, and of course, culture is dependent on society and vice versa. So if the society is sexist and the history of society is sexist, then of course the culture also is, and hip hop especially, and vice versa. Also, when the music that we listen to every day is sexist, then we might as well develop those patterns. And I think it's like a really great thing that we're talking about this right now, to maybe one day break through that. But also here, like at this very Wagner project, right now we are talking about sexism, and I think it's a very productive and good discussion. But 2 days ago we had rappers on the stage that openly shouted in the microphone that they hope their ex-girlfriend is going to be hit by her next boyfriend, and about in every song it was like really disgusting sexist bullshit that they were rapping, and they got cheered up by the crowd. And I don't know, the word bitch and stuff still is like kind of normal to most of us here, and that's like really disgusting. Sorry.
Just lining up on what Bruno said, and kind of joining multiple points you guys made. I think the problem in the hip-hop industry, I mean, it's a crazy shark business industry. So I think rather than a sexist society problem is a sexist industry problem, I think it's rather a harshly money-driven industry that profits from the sexist problem in the society to make money of it. And so I agree with changing things from the inside. Like in Japan, we see like DJ Okawari having lots of, on every album, different female singers on half of his tracks. Or Yu, to name one from Germany, who made her, I mean, it's party rap from 16, but on her own album, just listen to her song Intro. She makes her own statement to the goddamn industry and says, this is my spot now, this is my spotlight. And yeah, the problem is that it's a business-driven industry that has put the spotlight on sexism, because sadly it is what sells so far. But like Jascha said, I agree. I think the hip-hop industry is going to show it to the rest of the world when superstars like Nicki Minaj or those type of very strong character, strong aura women show up and lead the way and open doors for all the other female rappers and MCs and producers to balance it out a bit. I may sound a bit confused, but it's basically what I meant.
Thank you very much.
Sir, is it okay if I say something too? I want to say, I think this moment and what Josua said, that it's like a phenomenon, because I feel the phenomenon too, that it's like we're all feeling and reflecting on something. So I think if we come together and really teach each other the things and the knowledge and shift the paradigm, unsere Denkensweise together, because I don't want to hear nothing more about block parties and going to the club trying to figure out hip hop, but maybe I want to hear a lot of artists coming together. Like we just went to the library and all of us, and we read something new, and we're gonna bring equality, because equality, well, I know you should know, and so we can grow together, and just, I don't wanna hear nothing about clubs and bitches and stuff. And take this right now, this phenomenon, and really teach something to each other. Because I didn't know I was gonna come here and this is gonna happen. A moment like this will happen. I thought I was gonna come here and try my best to prove that I could also speak and reflect on the problems, but I didn't know that this might have been the intention that, you see this. So if that's the thing, I just had to say this, and I'm willing to change something through knowledge. But I'm the type of person, I go home at night and I'm paranoid, to be honest. Like, I have fear. Like, I'll be looking and stuff, and I'm thinking, am I crazy or something or not? Because I feel like somebody's just gonna pop out and come and get me. And you hear about people disappearing and stuff, so I take that in. But because these people like Tupac, they were in the mainstream all the way on top. And then I think somebody said this from Jay-Z, who started with Jay-Z. His name was J.O., and he said that they come to the mainstream and they have to change, because the mainstream doesn't want people that come like the Messiah and change things like that. They don't want that. So people that do that, they get eliminated on that level. But he can talk about this because it's YouTube and stuff. But that's one thing that I think about, is how to really, it feels like to me it's limited to change the system, the society. I feel like alone or something, like you said, you can't do it. I don't know. So it's only together you can do it.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
I just wanted to because now what Noah said, I found a good response to what Josua said, because I like so much how Noah was in the rap battles, actually, because Josua, you immediately did actually what I criticized. You wanted to reintroduce the harmony by saying, yeah, but we're talking about it now, what's the problem? I'm gonna be a bit like, you know what I mean? But I think exactly this is what needs to happen, in a way that we need to be able to fight about this, and I need to be able to mad at you, and you can be able to be mad at me, and we can still be friends. But to immediately like crush any kind of critique, or like the moment where we are not where we are fighting or whatever, that's, I think, part of the problem. So, and that's actually what I don't understand, what I don't get in my head, because with, for example, battle rap, we have this perfect tool where you hate each other for like 3 minutes and you really kill each other, and after that you shake hands, or with like b-boying or whatever. But we are not able to utilize these practices when it comes to maybe sharing ideas or talking, or like deconstructing the concept of hip-hop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but I feel like we agree. And I didn't say that it's not necessary. I also think that it's like important for every individual to take that into account. For example, when I choose the videos of today, I made sure like to pick 50-50. That was due to our discussion, because I think it's within the responsibility of everyone that when it comes to like picking songs for playlists or booking people for shows, like that you set some boundaries of things which are just not acceptable. And like, if every one of us does a little bit, we can change a lot. And what I wanted to say is that we here, us talking, is a very valuable thing, and we should do that more often. And I hope that everyone like will take his part into that whole change. And that's the chance that I see within the hip-hop culture, that we can talk about it, that we get together, that we face the problems. And that's what I wanted to say to that.
Okay.
One more thing, please. Yeah. And about the battle rap, I talked with Jill about what he said, that battle rap is sports. So whatever you say in the battle, wash away, forget about it, get off stage. And that issue is happening in Japan also, because we rappers use words, and words has meanings. and words has feelings. Maybe the opponent can say, okay, hey, you came from a shitty town. It's okay because it's a rap battle. But the other guys from the same town can feel angry, and they won't wash away their feelings after the battle because they didn't make promises with each other that we're going to wash away anything that we say in the rap battle is okay. Hey, I didn't write that contract. That happens because I am living a hip-hop life throughout my life. So doesn't matter if I'm on stage or off stage, whatever I say is what I say. So when I get on stage and say this fifth thing, and then when the battle is over, shake hands, okay, make peace, I think I'm not comfortable with that. We have to take responsible of the words because we use the words. Words are my weapon and my tools. And I actually saw a battle. An MC was talking about the opponent's family who was also at the stage watching the battle and say, your brother is a shitty guy. And his brother was getting really sad. So who's going to fix his feeling? Okay, it's in sport. Forget about that. Does this come easy? I think it's not. So the rappers on stage must be responsible for what they say. It follows them throughout their lives. Not only on stage, but like this. This moment, what we say have meanings, have feelings. And that's what we are using, words. And I think we have to, because I'm really good at this conversation. I'm going to have a workshop for me after, and I'm going to slide that to start from 6 o'clock. But we are talking in English right now, which is, the meaning of this is we're trying to communicate with each other. I'm trying to communicate with you because I'm not using Japanese, right? And this is what words can do, and also words can offend people. So I think we have to think about that MC sport issue also, because it is good to put it as a sport and forget about it. It's the easiest way. But maybe other people might be hurt. So yeah, we have to think about it also. And thank you.
Thank you. Wäre es okay, wenn du später kurz noch übersetzen würdest auf Englisch, weil ich würde es ganz auf Deutsch sagen und wenn du es übersetzen würdest, wäre es super. Also ich teile vieles, was hier gerade gesagt wurde und auch, dass das hier gerade so einen Pionieraspekt auch hat. Joshua, das war von dir gewesen und das sehe ich genauso, denn das, was wir hier gerade haben, das ist leider nicht repräsentativ. Das ist nicht wirklich der Mainstream von Hip-Hop hier in Deutschland, sondern es ist wirklich etwas Außergewöhnliches gerade. Und dieses Außergewöhnliche, da sollte man sich auch dann ehrlich machen und nicht Dinge entschuldigen, die nicht entschuldbar sind. Also ich finde, also Hip-Hop, also das, was Mainstream ist, hat Hip-Hop sehr viele Schwierigkeiten, die einfach nicht entschuldbar ist. Das Sexismus ist, glaube ich, nur ein Problem davon. Es gibt weitere Probleme wie Homophobie, wie Rassismus und auch wie Antisemitismus. Ich meine, wir haben eben gerade einen Videoclip angeschaut, wo es mir an einer Stelle wieder kalt den Rücken runterging mit Haftbefehl, also wo er mit seiner Rothschild-Theorie ankommt. Also ich meine, das ist antisemitisch pur. Und das sind auch Verschwörungstheorien, die da reinschwappen und die auch junge Hörer einfach dann konsumieren. Und das ist einfach auch nicht richtig. Und natürlich kann man sagen, ja, Hip-Hop ist nur ein Spiegelbild der Gesellschaft, aber damit macht man sich auch einfach nur zu einfach. Damit fängt man an, einfach Dinge zu entschuldigen, wo man sich eigentlich ehrlich machen müsste. Denn man muss ehrlich auch all diese Dinge kritisieren, die wir hier auch dann auch haben und wir auch bei Menschen haben, wie auch, ob es Haftbefehl sind oder viele andere sehr bekannte Künstler heutzutage. Und wo man es auch wirklich oft noch ansprechen muss und vielleicht auch dann darüber sprechen muss, hier, so geht es aber nicht, so, das kannst du einfach so nicht bringen. Und wenn hier auch Künstler hier aufgetreten sind, die einfach sexistische Sachen gesagt haben, also ich meine, ich komme aus einer Zeit, da hat der Mann am Mischpult einfach den Ton einfach abgestellt und hat gesagt, hier, sowas läuft bei mir nicht. Und ich glaube, wenn wir alles nur als Style konsumieren und nicht mal als Inhalt, und ich glaube, darin liegt ein ganz großes Problem, weil vieles eben nicht nur darauf ankommt, was eine Person sagt, sondern wie es eine Person sagt. Und wenn wir uns nur mit dem Wie beschäftigen, dann kann man sagen, oh, der hat einen guten Style und so. Aber dann beschäftigen wir uns nicht mehr mit den Inhalten, die dann auch hochproblematisch sind. Und eine amerikanische Feministin, Bell Hooks, die hat auf den Punkt gebracht, die hat gesagt, Rassismus ist der Aspekt, der schwarze und weiße Menschen auseinandertreibt. Aber Sexismus bringt weiße und schwarze Menschen wieder zusammen, weil da können sie mir dann ganz gut wiederfinden und können sie dann über andere Personen quasi diskriminieren und dann irgendwie dann gut miteinander connecten. Also ich glaube, wir müssen anfangen, uns da ehrlich wieder zu machen.
So what Murat said was that he agrees with what Jascha said and many other things that other people said, that this is like a rare opportunity, this discussion and what we're talking about, but that we shouldn't excuse the things that are not excusable, and those are the things that were already mentioned in the discussion, like homophobia, sexism, anti-Semitic content. For example, the video that Josua showed, actually, of Haftbefehl, he's talking about the Rothschild theory, which is anti-Semitic content in this song, and this is something that's being reproduced and is being spread, and young people are listening to it. So I think he was kind of bringing in the question: how can we really be honest, and how can we really confront this content and these subjects that are in the music, and then not just to point towards society as a whole, because that's very easy and that's like an excuse, but to really go into what is there and talk about it in hip hop. Yeah.
Can I go back a bit? If there is an inappropriate expression in hip hop in Germany, or say Frankfurt, and if hip hop is tightly connected to the community here, or the sense of the community, then the whole thing, the discourse in hip hop, isn't it the projection of the problem of the community? No? Or not? I'm just, like, I don't know anything about the community here, so I'm just asking. But
this is like a mini dream community for 10 days here. Like, we had a phenomenon where there was one girl confronting a guy because he said bitch, and they did not shy away or something. They did a battle afterwards. And since this is a safe space somehow, it doesn't need someone to say no, that's bad or something. No one who's like with a finger and says, no, you're not allowed to do this. Somehow the group does it by itself. It's self-regulatory. But that's due to the fact that this is a very safe environment, and we crafted like a thing. So, yeah, I had a discussion with Joana some days ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it should go both ways. Like, one side is the structural thing, and one thing is the individual thing. And here we have like sci-fi structural, how it could be nice kind of environment.
Now I see the point.
Where it's like self-regulatory, because everyone knows, okay, this is hip-hop, this is a battle, you can talk about things. We don't go home and put it underneath the bed. But yeah, it's rare, fucking rare.
At the same time, I think it's kind of necessary to like what Joana pointed out about the mantra thing. That was really interesting. But also, I say some layers. For example, hip-hop music industry has to be divided to the problem of the community. No? Like, isn't it same? Is it same, like hip-hop community and hip-hop industry, music industry? In Japan, it's totally different, I think. Yes, please.
I wouldn't say it's the same as. as Joshua already said, like this is we are like really different people here. Also, the rappers are very diverse, but it's still not really representative of the actual industry, because there it's like the anti-sexist parties are very much very smaller, much smaller than they are here, and also to you, I wouldn't call this a safe space at all, because I think in a safe space there would not even be the case that someone gets called bitch. This wouldn't happen. And in a safe space, there wouldn't be a rapper in the battle against an underage girl, and within his verse, talking to the referee and saying, "Come on, we fuck her together." That wouldn't happen in a safe space, and so I think that's not the point where we are right now. We are far from that, actually, but. With this discussion, we're moving towards it maybe a little bit, which is already a good thing, but still stuff like that I have just mentioned, and also that you have and every other person here has mentioned, should be discussed and should be pointed out, and not just, like, I don't know, ignored, and that's like really important. Yeah.
Was ich auch noch sagen wollen würde, wäre, ich finde, sorry, ich mach's jetzt auf Deutsch. Ich finde, dass es einen riesen Unterschied gibt zwischen der Community und der Industrie, weil ich spüre selbst bei den Gigs, wo wir dabei sind, dass wir uns in einer linken Szene bewegen, wenn es um Hip-Hop geht, aber das steht ja total im Kontrast, was man so in den Charts hört. So. Also riesiger Kontrast. Und das Problem ist halt, dass die Kreise eng bleiben, also in den Charts und auch in der Industrie, aber immer größer werden in der Community, wisst ihr? So, immer mehr Leute kriegen mit, oh, es gibt auch dieses Hip-Hop, kann man auch selbst machen. Aber die neue Generation, komisch das zu sagen, die nach uns kommt, die hört auch gerade Charts, und zwar auch Lelele und so, ja? Und wollen das natürlich auch machen. Also erweitert sich dieser Kreis auch wieder, das ist ein konstanter Kreislauf so. Und es liegt an uns, das zu boykottieren, was wir einfach nicht gut finden. Wir beide sind einfach rausgegangen, als diese Line kam. So. Macht das. Und das ist eure Art, zumindest das ist die eine Art, die man zeigen kann, so etwas nicht zu unterstützen. Das heißt nicht, dass ihr jetzt, weil ihr die Platte eh nicht kaufen würdet, sie trotzdem boykottiert, wisst ihr? Das meine ich nicht. Ich meine, dass ihr aktiv zuhört, was ihr überhaupt feiert und was nicht. So. Das ist mein Wunsch an die Community.
So, what Hassan was saying, that he thinks that there's like huge difference between this idea of a community of hip-hop and what is mainstream or what is commercial hip-hop in Germany. That's not the same, and especially they are moving in very left circles, so the rap that they do or that the events that they're at are very different to what is happening in mainstream hip-hop, if I understand it right. And he says that the content that they are bringing is really not present in mainstream hip-hop, this notion. This group is very extraordinary in the sense that it's so diverse. I don't even think this group, like this was already also said, that this group doesn't represent at all mainstream hip-hop or commercial hip-hop in Germany. And I think they offered you just offered a nice strategy of how to deal with content that you are not agree with it. And then they just said that in certain moments when sexist content was being said on stage, that they left the room. So he really offered this to everybody to just exit and to not support or hype if you're not happy with what is being said. And you can do that all day, every day in the spaces that you're in, I think.
Thank you very much.
Nochmal auf Deutsch leider. Sorry. Mit dem Rausgehen meine ich vor allem auch, dass man, also wie lange geht schon diese Diskussion? In jedem Interview, was man im Deutschrap hört, so, heißt es ja, was hältst du davon, ist deutscher Rap sexistisch und homophob? So. Und das kann mir keiner mehr erzählen. Also wirklich, es reicht. Ich glaube, ihr müsst euch wirklich aktiv entscheiden, so, und es dann auch machen. Ich persönlich habe einfach keinen Bock mehr, auch darüber zu reden. So. Es ist sehr gut, dass wir das machen. Ist auch, wie schon gesagt wurde, futuristisch schon fast. Und macht es auch in euren Kreisen so. Das ist ja kein Topic, was jetzt irgendwie lame ist, worüber man nicht gerne redet, sondern diskutiert und auch aktiviert euch selbst. Das ist der Schritt, den ihr machen müsst. So.
Sorry. He said that he's a bit tired of this discussion because it actually in every rap interview or every interview when they're talking to rappers, they always ask this question like how sexist and how homophobic is rap. So this discussion is very much already there. So he pointed again, I think, to the responsibility of everyone here, but also moving within rap to really change what they are talking about and to really not reproduce this type of content, I think.
But in that case, isn't it role model important as a female rapper or female DJ to show how to, yeah.
But there are female role models. That was like what this whole discussion before was about, that like there are so many examples of women in rap in society. That it's not that we don't have these role models, they just get really not acknowledged by the community. And I just wanted to add on to what Heisi Haku said before, that I think to actually like take this seriously, we also have to consider how we understand this sort of community, because like if we actually want to change something, then we also have to change somehow the perception, and then I have to take seriously what has been said also in a battle, and I can't go on by just saying like, okay, this is a battle, everything which is said doesn't relate to reality at all. I have to take it seriously, because also words create this reality, and also, and this is I think the second remark I wanted to make, I have to also take seriously that there is this sense, and that also like community is not a safe space for everybody, that also like in microorganism like society reflects, and first I have to work on like these sort of problems before I go to meta-ebene and change the society at all. I have to start at the ground where I am.
Right.
Okay, and the discussion is kind of getting very well, but the time is over. And it happens, and I've got my own workshop used to start from 45, but I'll slip that to 18, so there's a short break. And I think some of the themes I will continue to talk about in my workshop. I have something to say to the crew, and I'm gonna take time to say that. So we're gonna start the crew meeting for Saturday from 18, but I think this kind of talk will continue. So just have a short break, go to the toilet and have a drink, and then come back. The place will start here. Thank you.
And also, thank you very much for everybody, who participated.
Yes.
The discussion. It is inspiring for me. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, everything that I'm seeing in Frankfurt from the day one until now is wonderful. So thank you very much.